Okay, YouTube, I want to explain what the difference between sovereignty and slavery. When our country was founded, we were sovereign. John Jay, Supreme Court judge, ruled that the people are sovereign. At the revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are truly the sovereigns of the country. But they are sovereigns without subjects, with none to govern but themselves. The citizens of America are equal as fellow citizens and as joint tenants in the sovereignty. Sovereign means a supreme ruler. The people were their own rulers. A slave is someone who is subject to something, or something is your king. According to the 14th Amendment, Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. United States is defined as a federal corporation under Title 28, Section 3002, Paragraph 15A. This code defines United States as federal corporation. If you look up the word naturalization in the Black's Law Dictionary, you will see that it means the granting of citizenship to a foreign-born person under statutory authority. You would think that naturalization means that you're born from your mother into the world or into a certain jurisdiction, but when you sign your name to a birth certificate under statutory authority, when your birth certificate is filed with the state registrar, then that is when you become naturalized into the United States corporation. All persons, 14th Amendment, Section 1, says all persons born or naturalized in the United States, which is a corporation, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, or the jurisdiction becomes your king because you're subject to it, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges. You see, when you become subject to the United States corporation, you now have privileges. And they're wording this as privileges is a right. You know, it is a right if you want to accept privileges from a corporation. That is your right. You do have that right. But if you want to keep your sovereignty and you don't want to be a slave, then stop contracting with the corporation which you have been naturalized into through the birth certificate, which created the capital letter name. If you look at your license or your birth certificate, it's all in capital letters. And when you sign to those capital letters, basically what you're doing is you're allowing the government to capitalize or take advantage of you. You're allowing them to capitalize or turn you into money because they use this birth certificate as collateral, because you generate income for the corporation your whole life through this capital letter name. When you get a job, you have to give them your license and your social security card. You know, look at your social security card, it's in capital letters. They want to see that you're contracting and that they can take money away from you and your labors. Our forefathers gave us liberty through the revolution to not be slaves, to not pay taxes on our labors. So in other words, if you have to pay taxes on your labors, that means you're a slave. And that's what the federal income tax is. It's tax on your labor to pay back the loans that your leaders, the leaders of the corporation, take out from the loans that they take out from the Federal Reserve Bank. So you become a slave to their borrowing. You become subject to the laws of the United States corporation. And all of this started in 1933 when America became bankrupt and we had nothing for collateral, because the Federal Reserve owns all the gold. They own our country. I mean, you know, John Adams said, all perplexity, distress, and confusion that arise in America are not from defects in the Constitution or Confederation, but in the ignorance of the nature of coin and its circulation. Clear up the money problem and all seemingly unrelated problems will simply vanish. So it's our ignorance of the way money works that is allowing these international bankers to control our country and force their privileges on us. So if you want to gain your sovereignty, then you got to stop contracting with them. That means, you know, don't use your license, don't use your social security card, you know, go into the desert, because the Bible says in Isaiah 48:20, it says, flee from the Babylonians, utter to the end of the earth, to the ends of the earth. Say he redeemed his servant Jacob. Did he not lead them through the deserts and give them water from the rock? You might say, well, you know, I'll be in the desert because then I can't have a job. Well, that's what God's calling us to do, is to go into the desert, because it's going to be us who destroy kingdoms and shatter the nations. Jeremiah 51:20, which says, you are my battle axe, with you I destroy the nations, with you I shatter the kingdoms. So when we come out of Babylon, they lose their slaves, which keeps their system going. So redeem your straw man and stop being a slave and start being a sovereign, because once you sign your name to those capital letters on any government document, you are giving up your sovereignty and you're accepting privileges. You become a slave to the laws of the United States corporation.